My brothers and my sisters, good morning. I'm seeing many new faces. Our children are back from school, especially those who remain in school because of the public exams. I welcome you all back home. Welcome back home. There is something I want to call your attention to, please, not in the gospel, something about us. When I say, Our Lady of Fatima, what's your response? The Lord is with you. The Lord is with you. There are some people among us who think that it's a mistake. So the Lord is with you. No. The response is the Lord is with you. It's a Lady of Fatima. The Lord is with you. That caption is taken from the greeting that the angel gave Prophet Mary. Rejoice, highly favored. The Lord is with you. Or somebody say, Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you. The angel was addressing that lady, and they called her full of grace. That's the name. Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you. I say this because in some official 7 things that are presented to us, this is the second time I noticed it. Last evening I noticed. Can you see that noted for the what was designed for us for the harvest? There's a greeting that they give there. What do you see there? The Lord is with. Yes, that's a mistake. This is the second time I'm getting confused. There's a prayer card that they made some years, at least about 3 or 4 years ago, that still has it. And I know that some of us, the greeting that we are using is scriptural. We are replacing the name, Hail, full of grace. We're replacing it with Our Lady of Fatima because we bear the name of Our Lady of Fatima. The response is, the Lord is with you. Yes, we are just taking the angel's greeting. Today is the 26th of July. It is supposed to be the feast day of the parents of the Blessed Virgin Mary. 26th of July is the feast of Saint Joachim and Saint Anne. All of those who bear the name Anne in the church, please, happy feast, all of you. And those who bear the name Joachim. But they are parents of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So on this day, actually, the church, not the church, the world celebrates the elderly. Celebrates this day for the elderly. So it's a good day for you to think about your parents, think about your father, think about your mother, those who are elderly parents and grandparents. That kind of thing. We will think about them especially today. That's why we call your attention to that. So call your parents, say something nice to them. Look for the elderly among you and be nice to them, be good to them, wish them God's blessings. There's a great thing we have in the first reading of today. Something which God commends Solomon very much for. When Solomon had just been made king, he had just been enthroned. Before Solomon was king, there was another son of David, Adonijah, who thought that he would be the king because he had been fighting. He was a popular man with the soldiers and the army and the fighting, and his father was a warrior. So he was very popular among the soldiers of the army, and he thought that he would be king. And was really warming up to be king to replace his father. So this man Adonijah got people, they got the general and some of the priests to go and make him king. When his father had not died, the king was still there ready. And when David was told that this is what this man is doing, David got up and said, no. God had told him that the person to replace him is a man of peace. When David wanted to build the temple, God said, no, you shall not build a temple for me, because your hands full of blood. I accept you, because so much. The person is one of your son, man of peace. So you understood that Solomon would be the next person. And so then and there, David called another priest who was loyal to him. While these other ones had the army, had the army general, and the rest of the population, they had made their accept they are going to enthrone Adonijah as king. And David was told this. He got up himself. He was sick at the time. He got up and said, no way. And then he called another priest who was loyal to him, and he called Solomon. So go and the priest anointed Solomon king. So he gave his donkey. Among the Jews, the person to be king, you ride on a donkey, not on a horse, not on a camel, not on a straw. So that lowliness is a symbol. So he got his own donkey, and so Solomon was made king. Now the many things that happened, with palace politics and all the intrigues and all that. Now Solomon has been made king. And Solomon went to make a sacrifice in a place called Gibeon. At the time the temple had not been built. Solomon was the person who built the temple. So there was no temple. So there were several high places. There were several places where if you are worship God, God to sacrifice, you go to this shrine. There are many shrines they have. So Gibeon was one of the shrines. And so Solomon went there after he had anointed king. He went there and he offered sacrifice to the Lord, and he did a great sacrifice. And God told him, Solomon, after all that, say God came to Solomon at night in a dream. Say, Solomon, ask whatever you want, and I will give it to you. The Solomon sat down and they got up. God still presents himself that way. It comes to many people, many of us, many of you have experienced God in that way. And some of the ways he comes, you see in the dream, you will hardly know that is the Lord your God. We all are like that. There is so much about our God that we do not know. So much presence. His presence is so much among us, so awesome among us, but we hardly recognize him. We do not. There is so much about God that we do not know, we do not understand, and so we do not know him. Now, when God asked Solomon, ask anything, then Solomon prayed, oh God, please, I'm still a young person. You have made me a king over these great people, so great that it cannot be counted. Then you're telling me, just a young person, and made me a king. You succeed my father David, the man after your own heart. But I'm still a young man. I don't know with many things that I still don't know. Please, give me a heart to understand. Give me an understanding that I will know how to rule this people. So ask for understanding. Now I want to dwell on that someone asked God to give him an understanding on how to rule these people, how to judge things, how to be present with people. Say, God, give me an understanding heart. And God was pleased with Solomon. I thought you asked me for to give you the life of your enemies, to give you wealth, to give you riches, make you a great person. You didn't ask for all this. Instead, you asked me to give you an understanding, to know how to rule my people. So I'll give you that understanding. But all those other things which you did not ask for, I will give them to you as well. Well, on that, Solomon asked for understanding. Now you know that Solomon grew up in the palace. Solomon was born when David was already king. He grew up seeing his father ruling. He knew everything. So Solomon knew everything about the law. He knew the law. He knew how things happen. He knew how things have been happening. The way they have been doing this, he knew it all. Solomon had knowledge. He knew the various processes, the various procedures, the various ways of doing this. He knew them. Because he grew up in the courts. He grew up in the palace. He has seen it all his life, from his earliest days. But he asked for understanding instead. The fact that he had grown up, it means he knew the law. He knew how things had to be done. He knew all those things. He had knowledge. But he did not ask for knowledge. He asked for what? Understanding. He asked for understanding. That is very important. Not just to know things, but to understand them. You know it, that's fine. You know the Bible very well. But do you understand the Bible? You know church procedures, church processes very well. But do you understand them? You know how we do things. You know how this. It is not enough to know how to do things. It is not enough to know how the right way of doing it is like this, You also, after knowing how things are, you need to understand why they are the way they are. It is that understanding that Solomon had. Naturally, my brothers and sisters, for all of us, understanding comes with age. It comes with time. There are many things that you do as a young person growing up. You do this, achieve this, that, and the other. At an elder age, when God has given you a chance to grow to a ripe old age, at that elder age, you see what you did as a young person. You regret it. If I knew, I would have done it differently. Now you have understanding. You see that at a younger age, you do everything. You should have done it differently. I'm thinking about some of my friends. They look at it and say, look at me. I've done this. I had money, I had facilities, I had all of this. I've ruled my life this way. So what have I done? I think about this one, the Cross River State. I was working in a parish. Close to Nigeria. And the place is far from the seat of the diocese. So it's closer to Nigeria. I was working there and I had a friend. I go and visited somebody and he was talking to me and I listened to that person. He was an elderly man. He said his son told him off. He had so much wealth. He had land, he had property, he had everything. He had brought his children up very well. But he wanted his son to inherit all his property. He had to do all this, that, and the son was not interested. He tried to change his son in such a way that the son was not interested. Meanwhile, all the property he had his uncles, he had his brothers, he had many other extended family members whom he had not cared about. Whom he could have trained, whom he could have helped. But he didn't bother about all of them. So he grew wealthy. Now he wants his son to inherit. The son said, no, that house is your house. All these things, they are yours. You train me well. You work hard to get them. Let me work hard also to get my own. Because if I take all this and sit upon them, my children will be laughing at me that you've not done anything, you've not achieved anything. Instead, you've inherited from your father. Say, I don't want the inheritance. And so there was that speech about it. And the man looked at it and said, the young man was right. There's so much he could have done at his young age he did not do. Now he's elderly, he had understanding. And from that time on, he tried to fix up with his brothers and sisters, his uncles, his aunts. There's a certain understanding that comes when you grow old. And the church, well, we need to celebrate that understanding. Solomon as a young man, when God asked him for anything he wants, I will do it for you. Solomon did not think as a young man. Instead, he asked for that understanding that comes with age, and God gave him that understanding. He did not ask for money, he did not ask for wealth, he did not ask for all the other things that young people normally think about. No. He asked God, oh Lord, give me the wisdom that sits by your throne. Let me have an understanding about how to do your will. That act of Solomon is like what we have in the gospel. Look at the gospel. In the gospel, Jesus gives so many parables. The kingdom of heaven is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. Or when he sees one with a high value, he goes and sells everything he has to come and buy that one. He sells everything he has to buy that one. And then Jesus also uses this one. The kingdom of heaven is like the kingdom of heaven is like treasure that somebody has found. That treasure is hidden in a piece of land. So nobody knows that it is there. He knows that. So he goes and sells everything he has in order to buy that land. What those parables are saying is that what we call heaven is what everything that you have, everything that is yours. You have to give it all up. Do not be afraid that if you give up all your land, give up all your property, you are losing. No, it's not be afraid of that. Instead, Jesus is asking you to get everything, have something of a higher value. Let me tell you what it is like. There's somebody who does not understand, a Christian that doesn't understand many of these things about Jesus, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven. Do you remember the story about those two when Jesus rose from the dead? He said that day, the day of the resurrection, two of his disciples were going from Jerusalem to Emmaus. They were going to Emmaus. They were worried. They were worried about Jesus. What had happened to Jesus? And all what they had hoped for as they were going. Jesus himself came and was walking with them. He was walking along with them. And they were discussing. They were telling about their master and what had happened. And Jesus said, does not the Bible say that the Christ had to suffer this way before entering his glory? And then he started discussing the scriptures. He's telling the scriptures to them. And they are listening. They are going on and on and on until they reach where they were going to. And he made as if to go on. And they persuaded him, please, the day is fast spent, the night is here. Just come and stay with us. Don't continue walking in the dark. You know, places are not safe. You have high robbers, you have kidnappers, you have kidnapping, so please don't have the dark. Come and stay with us. And he came and stayed with them. Now these are people who knew, who had knowledge. They knew the Bible, they knew the Bible, they knew religion, they knew Jesus, they knew it so well. They had knowledge of him. But they lacked understanding. That understanding was not there. And so they had walked with all along, they did not recognize him. You need to recognize Jesus in your life. We all need him. We all need to recognize Jesus. When they recognize him, in that story of those two, please be careful. They recognize the sign he gave them, the breaking of the bread. When he did that, hey, only the master can do this. But when they recognize that sign, they did not see him again. Jesus is like that with us. Jesus is the same way among us. He has not changed. Our God is with us. He is the same way with you. Please, do not only know the Bible. Do not only know your religion. Do not only know the liturgy. Know how to do it. No, it is knowledge. Yes, you know. That is fine. You know God. You know all your prayers. You know all the psalms. You know what do you know. You have knowledge. That is fine. That is good. But it is important that after knowledge, try to gain an understanding of those things you know. And that's my prayer for each one of us. That's the prayer for each one of you. That God may give you the same wisdom which He gave to Solomon. The wisdom that will help you in your own life. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Please, we have among us the members, the new executive members of the Christian Mothers Association. Is it Christian Mothers? Is it association organization? Yes, not the new executive. We have to pray for them today, and we should do that during this time that we are reviewing Christ with people. So for all the new executive members, please come and file up in front of the church while we say the creed. All the members of the Christian Mothers Organization,